Once upon a time there were 3 people, but what they weren't to know is what would happen next. The 3 of them, they went to Alton Towers, but what would happen would be nothing short of revolting. They were in a group, however, there was 2 youths. They tried to pickpocket the 3 people, only for 3 people to fend them off. Later that afternoon, the 3 people bought their tickets and entered the theme park. They went on the rides before they would head up into town for a pint at the Banker's Draft. The 3 of them then decided they would go to Republic, a nightclub in Sheffield City Centre. They would have a pint of Guinness. The next day, the 3 of them, Marcus Richardson, Stuart O. Phillips and Martin O. Wilkinson. Stuart O. Phillips and Martin O. Wilkinson, the 3 of them went for a job interview at Crystal Bar. The 3 people all had previous bar experience. They all worked at Fog and Parrot, but they wanted a new challenge and they thought that Crystal Bar would be the right place for them to work. The next day, the students, they received a phone call. They were not offered the job. The 3 of them, they were fuming. They were shocked that they weren't offered the job. However, the employee at Crystal Bar would not rule anything out. He wanted to see how the other interviews went before he made his decision. They would have to wait before they would find out whether or not they had been offered the job at Crystal Bar. The next day, they received a phone call and they were offered the job to work as bar staff at Crystal Bar. Later that evening, they arrived at Crystal Bar to start their own shift. However, what would happen will be remarkable. The 3 of them, there was a man who was behaving really disorderly. So the 3 of them, they called security, and the security escorted the man out of Crystal Bar. The man, who was aged between 23 and 25 from the London area, he would not be allowed back in Crystal Bar. Later that evening, they booked a taxi back to their accommodation at Walkley. There were students studying at University of Sheffield. The next day, they would go into lecture at university, but the weather was abysmal outside. However, suddenly, one of the people got involved in a massive argument, and the security had to come into University of Sheffield. A student who was on another course, they had a massive argument, and they would get kicked off their course at university. Their behaviour was nothing short of embarrassing. Later that evening, they went to play some golf at Moorview driving range. They played some golf before they would go to Hollow Bowl for a game of bowling. Later that afternoon, they went to Hollow Bowl. But what would happen will be pathetic. There was a man who overtook them at speed. They were driving really dangerously over the speed limit. They would not slow down, and they were causing real problems for the other drivers on the road. Surely they need to be caught. They can't continue like this, overtaking other drivers on the road. They arrived at Hollow Bowl and would play 2 games of bowling before they would head into town, and would play some ball games at Couch. They finished bowling and the games were really competitive. They drove into town and went to Couch to play some ball games. The next day, the people went and did some university work in the library before they would go to work in the evening. The next day, they went to Ponds Forge, swimming baths. They went swimming. However, when they arrived at swimming at the swimming baths, the fun pool's not open. They decided they would go lane swimming, and they paid to go lane swimming at Ponds Forge. What they weren't to know was that there were 2 dangerous individuals waiting outside Ponds Forge: Jamal Mohammed and Faisal Ahmed. Later afternoon, they came out of Ponds Forge and headed towards Meadowhall Interchange. The 2 of them, who were Turkish citizens, the men followed them to Meadowhall Interchange. They got closer to them. When they looked behind, they wrestled them to the ground. However, luckily for them, the conductor was there to back them up. But they had to get back up. But they got back up. Sorry, the 2 of them, they took everything what they had on them. The 2 of them were asked to leave the tram. The 2 men were not giving up. They were on the phone. They drove off in a car and followed the tram to Meadowhall Interchange. Later that evening, they arrived at Meadowhall Interchange, but the individuals were at Meadowhall Interchange. They were not going to give in. However, there would be a twist. They would board a plane to Slovakia from Manchester Airport, but this whole episode was not over. The 2 of them didn't have their passport on them, and they barged past the security guard. And as the pilots get off, would they be in control, or would the pilot Stefan Nicholson be in control of the plane? The 2 of them, they just wrestled the pilot, and they would sit in the pilot seat. but he would alert the control team at Vienna International Airport. These two men did not know what they were doing. However, in a twist, the pilot jumped up and managed to get back into the pilot seat. The drama was not yet over. They had some weapons on them and they were making threats to the crew on the plane. Their behaviour was unbelievable. They could not believe what they were witnessing. The Slovakian authorities were stepping things up on the arrival of the men who were on the run. They really caused so much problems on the plane. These men need to spend the rest of their lives in a prison cell, because what they were doing was quite remarkable. Late that evening, they booked their accommodation in the city centre of Vienna. While the individuals who were on the run, as they got in the taxi, the police handcuffed the individuals and they would be put in their prison cells. There would not be any way out for the individuals. Late that evening, they settled down for the night and one of them decided they should go out to a restaurant in the city centre of Vienna. They had some Slovakian food before later they would return back to the hotel. The next day, they won the lottery and would spend the money on building a plot of land to build an IMAX. The end, Sam Jenkinson. Yeah.